I can't seem to ever get that merfolk noise out of my head ever after playing
Murloc
the Murloc stuff from World of Warcraft and then playing Hearthstone. Or Merfolk. Have you ever seen the movie Warcraft?
No.
No,
What?
I watched
Oh,
clips of it. It looked awful.
No, it's good.
It did look terrible.
No, it was good. It was good. My wife loved it, and she played Hearthstone as well. And then it's just when you hear that one of the guys just like walking along, you heard the Merfolk go, "Oh," and you're like, "Oh yes!" You're just so happy to hear that noise.
It's just
It's
such an iconic sound.
bait.
It brings back so many memories of like running around farming stuff.
Oh, did you play a lot of World of Warcraft?
I played between Burning Crusade and Cataclysm, and then I fell out of love with it.
Oh, like everyone then. Like
Yeah.
yeah, the golden era of the Lich King.
Yeah, I mean, I held off World of Warcraft for so long because I knew exactly what it would do to me, and I knew how addicted to the game I would get.
And you still did it.
And then during Burning Crusade, I was at med school, and I had some time 1 year, and I thought, what harm could it do? And then that was it for like 4 years.
That sounds like what a drug. That sounds like what a drug dealer, and you just go like, well, I know that cocaine's really bad, like, but I just went to this festival and I thought, well, I'll give it a go, and then every Friday night.
It probably wasn't 4 years, to be honest.
They called me Razza Simon.
Yeah. It was a bit on and off.
I never played it. I never played World of Warcraft, but I've been playing Hearthstone since the beta,
since its inception.
So, yeah, on and off.
I only played Hearthstone up until the Naxxramas first expansion, and then I was done.
I still play it now, but I only play the Battlegrounds mode, which is like the
Blitz of Hearthstone.
It's like you can just sit back with a beer and you don't have to worry about it too much. The competitive side, I just can't. I can't do it.
I just can't
too
even.
RNG.
Have you heard of New World, the MMO from Amazon?
Yeah.
Is it catching your interest a little?
No, I can't. Like I've barely got enough time for Flesh and Blood, let alone like a immersive, massively multiplayer online game.
Mm-hmm.
Someone on the Discord was like, "I'm already addicted to Fab. I can't have that and another MMO."
Yeah, exactly. Although I know some of our friends are playing New World, and it does look fun.
It does,
but I just can't.
I'm like I've said after Nationals.
Okay.
I'm going to pick it up because again, like I'm like most of my evenings, you're trying to juggle family, and then if you've got a bit of spare time, you kind of want to get a practice game in. But after Nats, I think you'd be like,
it'll be Blitz season or New World.
Oh, whatever. Who cares about that?
Yeah.
So I hope you've enjoyed Push the Point while it lasted. We'll be transitioning into was it New World?
Yeah, welcome to Push the New World.
Push the world.
Push the
Covenant.
World.
All I know is there's fishing in it. I could get on board with a bit of fishing.
Mining.
I love fishing in video games. It's just it's so chill.
Well, I heard that if you like the actual trading system in the game is like really, really decent because if you were to go out and gather resources and stuff, if you take it over to like an area that your clan or whatever your faction controls, you can actually put it up on the market. But because the game doesn't have it doesn't have any mounts and it doesn't have fast travel, like you actually have to go out your way to go and get the stuff. So it's actually worth your time because you can actually then become a proper trader. It's actually I'm hearing that there's
stop saying these things to me, man.
Day trading on New World.
No, seriously, you could get a little market going.
This is my crack right here.
Yeah, that's what's getting me going.
This like min-maxing for the trading mechanics. That sounds
I love
good,
my tailoring skills in World of Warcraft. So
well, apparently the crafting system in this game is through the roof. But anyway, who cares? We're not going to talk about
that. We're Flesh and Blood. We're the best Flesh and Blood podcast, so we're going to talk about Flesh and Blood. First we're going to talk about drinking, but then we talk about Flesh and Blood.
Well, we're going to do this this section that everyone particularly loves.
I think everyone loves it. I've changed my mind. I think it's the best part. I've always said it's the best part. I've not changed my mind at all.
Right, so I'm going first.
So do you know what though? Before, we must be doing something right because we now have 206 subscribers on YouTube.
Oh my god! Yeah,
amazing.
So I did say on the last one, if we get to 200, would say what we do, but I didn't realize we'd actually get to 200 this quick. So I know. Oh,
so we do.
Oh god,
we do have
some.
Yeah. Well, we do have some special. I would say merch, but we don't plan on selling them. So we do have some special things to reveal at Nationals that we may or may not be giving out. So stay tuned. Come and find us at Nationals and come and have a chat.
I love it when people say may or may not because it's just like, we got this stuff. We're gonna bring it out. We're not giving it out. So
sorry.
What
I should say,
we're going to show it. We're not doing anything.
What I should say is there will be some given out at Nationals, but we are still deciding on the system. For which we will be deciding how to give them out. So come and say hello at Nationals, and
yes.
Are we not going to say what it is?
No, not yet.
No. We'll keep it hush.
I want to tell people.
Oh no, I want to tell people.
They'll have to
maybe we should hide. Maybe we should hide a little Easter egg in the thumbnail.
I'll tell you what. I could do a frame of the video.
Image
of it.
Okay.
Deep within the video, there's going to be a single frame.
Oh, okay. I feel like you say this, and then come Friday or whatever it is, or Thursday, whenever you do it, you'll forget.
You'd be surprised if you watch the videos. You do see. I do remember the little bits and pieces.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah,
okay.
I put the meme in. You put the meme in.
You put the time in the meme. That's good. So. I tell you what, actually, the whole point of why we're actually going to do this beer bit is because I don't want to introduce everyone. You meant to introduce, you got to say, so, Simon, what are you drinking? So then,
no, it's not my turn, it's your turn.
So what? Yeah, I know, but you you meant to say the name so people know who's doing it.
So, Hamish, what are you drinking tonight?
There we are. Well, Simon, right, I am drinking a Asian lager.
Is it Asahi?
Oh.
No, it's a tiger.
Oh, lovely.
Nice.
I like a tiger.
Yeah, I thought, I haven't had this in, Christ, I don't even know, probably whenever I brought a curry. So, but you don't see this in a pub. So I thought, well, it's in co-op. I'm getting it.
You got a co-op as well. My local's a co-op.
We have a co-op.
Everyone's locals is a co-op.
It's co-op
unless it's a Tesco Express.
Tesco Express as well. We've got both.
Simon,
I don't want to. Sorry. Tesco Express.
Yeah.
Because we're talking about Tesco. What is this club card malarkey going on in Tesco? You
That's
only
great.
get a discount if you got a club card.
How have you not got a club card in 2021?
Because I don't want a Tesco club card.
What do you mean?
This is a very British problem, but so you can only get the discounted price if you have a Tesco club card.
Yeah,
that's called a loyalty scheme.
Why don't you just get it? Because it's not. It's like no skin.
I don't want a Tesco club card.
You literally say it's like you get stuff cheaper, and then you build up points, and then you can get stuff for cheaper. There's like no downside.
I just resent that I have to get a card to access a deal.
Well, you don't. You just sign up and get it on your phone.
Every other supermarket is fine. If you agree with me, right?
Wait, have you not got a co-op card?
Video. There's no co-op.
Well,
there
is
a co-op card. I get get rewards back, and I get money off.
I didn't know this. Anyway, should we just move this on?
I just wanted to say that. I'm just very passionate about this, so I just want to throw that out there while we're talking about it. Simon. So Push the Point Podcast. What are you drinking today?
I've chosen something closer to home than an Asian lager. Something from Rock in Cornwall. I've gone with a Doom Bar.
A Doom Bar, a classic.
Doom Bar.
I love a Doom Bar.
Is it from Rock or is it from Burton on Trent? Now that's the real question. Have you checked?
Sharps was based in Rock.
Yeah, but some of them are from Burton on Trent.
Well, shush. Sharps Brewery, based in Rock, make Doom Bar.
They make it though, yeah. They pipe the water over from Devon up to Burton.
Is that Devon? Cornwall?
Sorry,
don't be causing. Oh my goodness!
Causing drama.
Civil war. Next, he'll be talking about scones.
That's okay. No, there doesn't seem to be any flesh and blood going on in Devon and Cornwall when I was looking at the event map the other day. So if you are from Devon and Cornwall, again, let us know.
I think you're going to have a whole bunch of retired community raging at the prospect that you said these things.
So Tripp, wildcard boy, what are you drinking?
Yeah, so I think I've drunk this one before. I can't remember which one, but it is a BrewDog beer. It's layer cake.
Oh, very nice. I think I had a layer cake on once upon a time.
Yeah, so I think in a previous episode of the podcast, I think I may have drunk this before, but I saw it and I was like, I could get something different, but I just wanted a nice, tasty, filling beer.
A warming
very
stout.
Sweet. On a very cold day. I don't know about you guys, but I found it very cold today. It's getting wintry.
Do you know who will appreciate that choice of drink? I think our friend Chunks will appreciate your choice of a dark beer.
I love a dark beer.
Yeah.
Oh, big fan.
Hamish has got a quizzical look on his face as if to say, why do these weirdos drink dark beer?
No, my little one is not very well and she keeps waking up and it's making me... Yeah, no, it's gonna... Ladies and gentlemen, we're in for a rough night. Buckle up, because I'm
sorry, dude.
I'm gonna take you through an anxiety-induced hour of.
I see the look on Hamish's face, and we've been there, and just the dread, the anticipation, the can't sleep because what's going to happen? When am I going to next wake up?
Yeah.
Welcome to parenthood.
Welcome to parenthood, everyone. It's worth its time. So, what are we doing today, Thorman?
Yeah, son.
So, what's going on? We have a fantastic interview with one of our judge friends on the Discord known as Regular Raccoon, otherwise known as Jake Arms.
He's been on before.
He has, friend of the show. Friend of the show. We're going to have a bit of a discussion about nationals because it's not far away now, and specifically something that's been causing a bit of discussion in the wider community about the format of nationals and how that's going to pace the days and how people might be taking to that. And then we're going to end on what I like to think is a favourite segment for the listeners.
It's getting it. When Tripp said this is going to be a regular, he weren't lying. But no. It's really good. I love it.
We committed.
Do you want to introduce it, Hamish? Because
yeah, do the voice.
I wonder if I can actually do it this time. What's hot and what's not?
We need to isolate that audio.
We just need to save it.
I need to actually sit down and do a proper one and actually, mix it.
So in case you find yourself just incapable of doing it.
I'm actually going to speak to. You never know. I say all this stuff, but it probably won't happen. But I've got a friend who's got a good load of recording equipment. I might just have him get his guitar going.
Well, we need the Tim Westwood horns in there, don't we?
The Tim Westwood.
Tim Westwood.
What?
Do you remember Tim Westwood?
Yeah, you did it last. You put them in one of the last episodes, Hamish.
Oh, you mean the beer?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. All right. I thought that was just classic, rave horns. Yeah, cool. Yeah. Oh, well, that's when we reach the milestone. That's the milestone horn. I think I'll probably get a what's hot, what's not actual thing put up because this is going to be a regular segment.
And I think there's been a few changes as well. I certainly think there's been some hot and not changes.
Yeah, I think so. I think we've managed to. The other one was just kind of throw it on the wall and see what sticks. And now I think we're getting a better idea what's sticking.
I think we should also do a special draft version for the 3 new heroes of what's hot.
Yeah, I like it.
We can give them a quick CC and a quick draft because it may be different for each format. Or it might not, actually.
Can you actually do that in draft? We'll find out. Anyway,
we'll see. We'll see.
So
before we carry on too far down the line, what have you been up to in the world of Flesh and Blood lately, guys?
That's a great question, Simon, that I have to think about for a second because I have a very poor memory. But I have been doing some drafting. I've been at Kingdom Gaming every Saturday so far in October doing a Tales of Aria draft, which has been really good, run by the book with the proper timings and the rules and stuff, which has been really good because the rules for draft are quite stringent in terms of how it actually works. And if you just do casual drafts, I think you'd be surprised what you can and can't do in a professional tournament.
No table talk.
Literally, you cannot talk at all. So be careful with that and don't you dare put that card down and pick it back up again, which I see people
do not touch that single pile of cards once it's already down.
So that's been really good. It's really Adam's store over in Northampton, enjoying that. I've been going to Rule Zero. That's my regular armory. We've all kind of got regular little armories we go to. That's been really nice. I think draft has been the kind of talk of the town recently. I think I'm getting a little bit drafted out. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I think it's time to play a bit more classic constructed to keep things fresh.
Well, I know we've also been taking part in a Creators of Aria series, haven't we, Dan?
Yeah, we have.
Representing Push the Point on my end and Fyendal's Library on your end. I won't
Traitor.
spoil any results.
Traitor.
I
feel like I wear both hats.
It's not as if you did Fyendal's Library first, right? You know, it's not as if that's your baby, and you should really represent that.
Please stay tuned, because I do have some gameplay videos of my 2 games so far. So stay tuned, and I'm hoping to do some commentary over those games and release those separately. So keep an eye out. Hamish, what have you been up to?
Testing. Playing and meeting up with a variety of different people on the TTS and testing my little socks off, basically. And yeah, that's pretty much what I've been doing.
So on the subject of table talk at drafts, we've been quite lucky locally. There's been a few drafts going, both armory events and people putting up boxes to do what I found out is known as a phantom draft, where you open the box and the owner of the box gets to keep the cards afterwards. I didn't realise that was a terminology. Mm-hmm. However, I managed to take my box down last week, and pack 2 open, pick 1, a Fable. And I was sat looking at this tree, and the table talk rule went out the window, and some expletives came out of my mouth at the time I opened this, and then I showed everyone the card, and I got severely told off. I would have been disqualified from a draft if that was a real one. So,
mate.
Yeah, DQ.
What would you have done if someone else had taken it and then just shuffled it up?
Or
passed it to you and shuffled the pack.
My days.
No, that's I couldn't really believe it, because that's the first cold foil Fable that I've actually opened, and my heart was in my mouth.
Yeah,
it's a wonderful feeling, isn't it?
It is. I'm not like you guys who have opened Arknight Shards and libraries. And
I haven't opened
I've only opened a library.
I've only opened a library, mate.
I have another friend close by who's opened.
But his was jammier, because he got given one Crucible of War first edition pack and got the Coldfield Shard out of it, which is a bit bonkers.
Good.
So yeah, it was a very pleasant experience, but it took me a while to settle back into the draft experience after opening that. So yeah, we've had some good drafts locally, and I hope that continues until Nationals. It doesn't feel like long away now, though. Like 3 weeks away.
It's not long.
It's so near, and it's we're the first, right? We're now officially the first. The UK,
we are now officially the first
Nats
Nationals
back
globally.
So the whole world is going to be watching. I believe it's getting streamed. I believe our good friends Tabletop 24 getting involved again to do some streaming, I believe.
Yeah, they are.
So the whole world is going to be watching, and we're going to have an important role in setting the meta. They're going to take one look at us and be like, well, we're definitely not doing that.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. They're going to take one look at us and go, that was last season.
Yeah, why are they all still playing Chain?
Did they not know there was a new set that came out? Why is everyone playing Katsu and Dorinthia still?
Yeah, well, I'm really excited about that. I think that's really exciting that the UK get to set the first benchmark of what Nats meta is going to look like. And I think that's a really exciting prospect. And I do think it's also going to make our Nats completely wild.
I love it.
It's not going to be like, you can't just look at what happened in New Zealand and everyone's going to copy that. We have to sort of forge our own path a bit and make some difficult calls. Like
I know we're going to have to grow up.
Yeah, we're going to have to
have to be big boys now.
But yeah,
I think we've had a bit of a luxury drawing upon experience of other metas to force and shape our own. We don't have that anymore. So deck building and practice testing, which heroes to choose, is all going to be a complete wild card, and I really enjoy the anticipation. Actually,
it's going to be an amazing weekend.
you don't have to you don't have to declare what you are going to play, but do you know who you're going to play?
I definitely don't know who I'm going to play.
Have you got a couple of choices?
Yeah, so I definitely have some ideas in mind. I'm still considering Chain. Chain was always a hero I really, really enjoy playing, irrespective of the nerfs. I'm really looking at Bravo in a serious way. I've got the deck completely. I always had the deck. I played Bravo a little bit in Blitz, which is obviously very different, but I did enjoy that. I've got Katsu too, so I've got Dory as well. To be honest, if I wanted to build a Dory deck, I could sit down and do it.
Cool.
So I'm just keeping myself really open at the moment and just going to try a few things out, see what I enjoy.
I'm looking forward to Simon saying that he won't play Katsu, and then he will. So, or not, who knows? But have you got an idea who you want to play though, Simon?
I would say I am 80% locked in.
Yeah. Okay.
I'd say I'm 80% locked in. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm in the same boat as well. I feel like I think I'm 80% locked in, but I'm still like jumping between. I've got like two heroes that I definitely know I want to play. I'm just trying to work out which is the one that I feel that's going to see me through the 6 games. The first 6, the day one, I'm going to get 6 games out of it. Will this see me through into the top 8 and then, play the draft game where, it doesn't really matter what I've brought, that's just a different level of thinking. So I think I've got it.
I have a deck that I very much enjoy playing, and it will take something considerable in the next couple of weeks to knock me off that perch. But I think I was having this discussion with a friend the other day, and I think there's a distinction, isn't there? And we've talked about goals at tournaments before. I think there's a distinction between picking a deck that is going to get you to the top 8, and the top 8 is no mean feat. I think getting to the top 8, getting a gold foil random drop, getting a cash prize, getting a PTI, and getting the recognition that gets you as part of the top 8 at a nationals event is huge. But I think there is a different deck choice from just getting to the top 8 and winning the event.
I think the deck that you're trying to pick to win the event is way too difficult to work that out. I think it's a little. I think people should probably be aiming for, can I get a deck to see me through into the top 8? Because I don't think we know what a winning deck looks like currently, because with Chain being, like, when Chain came out in Monarch, you could just see the power that he had, and then as the month went down, it was really, really evident really quickly that he is like the driving force that is going to be the meta. So you can actually put him on a target and go, cool, well, if I can't deal with him, there's no point trying to work out how I can deal with anyone else, because he is so strong. But this time round, we don't actually have a hero that we've got to go, that's the main one. We've got quite a lot of heroes that are pretty good and have bad matchups. So
we've got a bit of a rock paper scissors interaction, haven't we?
Yeah, exactly.
And there's a circular. It's not even rock paper scissors, because there are more variables, but it is definitely a this beats that but loses to that, while this beats that and loses to this. And it's going to be really interesting to see who can consistently win rounds at nationals and how they go about doing that. I would say that we've come from a very hyper aggro meta, with Katsu and Chain leading the way, and I would hesitate to say we've moved away from that. I think we are still in an aggro to mid-range situation. I don't think we've moved towards the disruption and control variable yet, and that'll be interesting to see if I'm wrong on that.
Yeah, I think that's all probably down to but it's definitely slowed down. I don't think it's like when you say what's hyper aggro and what's not. I think there's going to be decks that are not pushing out the most insane, like constant 20 damage easily per turn, but you're going to get decks that can just go, well, I will explode, into a turn, and I think there's an element where people think that's aggro. I don't know. It's probably
more of a
aggro,
setup, isn't it?
anyway.
I think you have to. My experience from Road to Nationals is that good players win top 8s, but good players don't always get to the top 8, and I think that's key. I think when you see a player like Shin or Simon get into the top 8, that's when I put my money on them to win the whole thing. It's players with experience. I think players with experience tend to do best in that aspect of the tournament. But the deck that you might navigate, if you look at something like Shin's Dorinthia, for example, he got quite lucky, and he admits that he didn't run into a lot of prisms, and there were a lot of prisms early on in RTN. That could have easily happened, and he never gets to the top 8. But when he does get there, he's got the experience, he's got the strategy, he's got the mentality of someone that's won. I think that's really important, is to have a winning mentality when you go into the top 8, to take it all the way to the final, and then that's key. I think deck choice is really important, and there are definitely counters in Flesh and Blood decks. Some decks counter other decks, but I think
having a confidence in your own deck and your own ability to play that is huge,
and a strong mental attitude of someone who is a winner and who has won and has that experience is really valuable in these high level tournaments. This is a super high level tournament. We'd say if you go into that first top 8 game, you're probably absolutely knackered. Your deck might be so much better than the other person's deck, but if your brain is not there, if you've not got the mental strength to play the deck because you're tired or you're tilted for some reason, you're going to lose. So
can I just add as well, this is the first ELO rated tournament the UK will have seen for Flesh and Blood, and everyone starts on 1500, right? I think everyone starts on 1500, and we're going to have 6 rounds of CC and 3 or 6 rounds of drafts, and they will be separated into different ELO ratings. But it will be really interesting to see if that has an effect on how people approach preparation and mentality on the day, because this means something now. We're going for PTIs, we're going for prize money, and I think that will have a positive effect for some people and a negative effect for others.
Yeah, this isn't just flesh and blood in your bedroom anymore that we used to do when we were starting off in the game. This is turning into a serious competitive sport. There's no getting out of that. There's money on the line. There's $2 million on offer next year, and that's only going to go up as the game continues to become more and more successful.
Jeez.
Basically, it's turning into a really competitive sport, and I think that's great. I'm really happy about that. That's what all the good games should aspire to be. But that's something that I think maybe hasn't sunk in for a lot of people.
I'm gonna like this little segue. Hold on, I'm gonna like this segue. In order, if you're gonna be getting that, big £300,000 prize pool, you're gonna have to also learn how to be an uber shark, but you don't want to be a naughty shark, because we've got some awesome judges that will give you a right old telling off if you're going to be very unsportsmanlike. So, speaking of judges,
you've just absolutely crucified my superb segue that
I had. I'm sure it was just as good, Simon. But,
Simon, shall I? Johnny's actually annoyed.
Do you want a double segue? Do you want to?
Oh, I didn't say any of that. Simon, what was your segue?
No, it's fine.
He refuses.
No, I just think it's interesting in such a competitive arena. We've had a lot of new.
He's reading the script.
We've had a lot of new We've had a lot of new rulings introduced, right?
Yeah.
And there are a lot of new things interactions that people are questioning, and LSS themselves know that they've had to reprise articles to talk about how these interactions work. But the people that are really on top of this are the judges. They've passed their level 1 exam.
Oh, mate! What a segue!
Decide whose was better, everyone, and let us know in the comments.
Do you know what? Because Hamish gets to decide whose was better because he edits the podcast. So
I'll probably just put them both in. Anyway, let's kick this stuff up. Right, Tripp, you've done this with good boy Jake. Let's rock and roll.
We're going to be talking to a judge of the game of Flesh and Blood, and also someone that we know very well in the UK community. That is Jake, also known as Regular Raccoon on the Discord, the UK Discord, and all other kinds of Discords as well. Jake, do you want to give us a brief introduction about yourself, and why do you love the game Flesh and Blood?
Right there, Tripp. Yeah, happy to. Yes, as you say, I'm Jake. I'm a judge for the game, and yeah, I suppose the reason I love the game of Flesh and Blood is the resource management aspect of it. It's the fact that you're given 4 cards, and then with those 4 cards, you've just got, you know, a stupid number of decision points for just 4 cards. Sometimes you'll pitch a card, sometimes you'll defend with a card, sometimes you'll play a card, sometimes you'll discard it as part of a cost for some other action. There's just so many decision points which just spin out of just 4 cards. And that has like a really nice impact when you're playing the game, especially if you've played other games which have resource constraints on them. So, you know, things like Magic the Gathering, Hearthstone, Legends of Runeterra, whatever it is, where you have a specific resource that exists which constrains what you can do on your turn. Instead here, the resource is the cards that you play, and I just really love that dynamic that each card is a resource of a different type, whether it's health, damage, or resources that you then manage and trade off against one another.
Yeah, I completely agree. I really like that aspect of it as well, and making those decisions on your turn about how you can decide whether you're going to take damage or you're going to do the damage, and working out what's the best use of the cards in your hand. And every card in the game, or nearly every card, can be used in 2 different ways, like to pitch or play, and that just adds so much to it. It's really, really great. So we got you on here today because we wanted to bring on a judge. So judging is obviously a really important part of the tournament scene of Flesh and Blood. I think possibly people don't realize how much work goes into being a judge and how much work on the day that's actually involved in it. So I wondered if you could talk about how you personally got into judging in Flesh and Blood, and why did you make that decision to judge?
So I sort of fell into judging. I was just on the rules channel of the global Discord, and one of the users over there, a guy called Josh, he was working on doing a rewrite of the comprehensive rules, or putting together some suggestions for LSS so that they could, you know, have a guide of what the judging player base or the people who were interested in the rules at the time thought about the comprehensive rules as they existed. And I sort of contributed to that a fair bit. I sort of gave some comments on what changes I thought should be made, how difficult situations should be dealt with, in my opinion. And eventually, just from that, I just got really into the rules of the game, the underlying rules of it. So when an opportunity came up to take the level 1 judge test for a store in the UK, which is how the first judges were selected, it was a case of each store had to nominate a judge for their Road to Nationals event. I immediately just put myself forward for one of the Road to National stores, and thankfully Manascrew said yes, so I got the opportunity to take the level 1 judge test, and eventually became a judge that way. But I just fell into it. I just happened to be on the channel at the time and just happened to be really interested in the rulebook and the way in which Josh was trying to solve some of the issues with the rules.
That's really interesting. And I was going to ask you how have you found judging at events, but I wonder also maybe you could touch upon the differences between understanding the rules of the game and actually being a judge on the floor of a tournament, because I imagine those two things are actually quite different.
Yeah, absolutely. So you could memorize all of the rules documentation for this game, and then you could go along to an event and attempt to judge it. But the skill set required to judge a live game and to understand the rules of the game are entirely different. The fact that you have to interact with 2 people who are both trying in a very competitive mindset to beat the other individual, and one of them is going to feel aggrieved potentially based on whatever you say in that situation. You've got to have quite a diplomatic, almost mediator type approach to the situation to ensure both players come away potentially not satisfied, but at least happy that the ruling is fair or is based in the fairness of an appropriate decision. And I think that ability to mediate the situation and ensure that both players don't feel entirely aggrieved, even if a judge ruling goes against them, is a skill set which goes beyond just memorizing the rule book.
Yeah, it's people management skills, isn't it? A part of it.
Yeah, definitely. And there are people who are trained mediators and who spend their entire professional lives dealing with situations of conflict between individuals, and that's a skill set that people will pay a lot of money for in the real world. So if you want to be a judge in the game, you've got to have at least some element of that skill set, that ability to navigate a difficult, intense situation.
And how have you found, how did you find the experience of judging the Manaskew Road to Nationals? Did you find that on the whole the players of the game understood the rules quite well, or was there did you have to intervene often? How did it actually go on the day for yourself?
Honestly, you'll find that judging an event sort of has two components to it. Component one is correcting the decisions that tons of players will make, or the mistakes I should say, that tons of players will make during the event. Little things like triggering Teklo Foundry Heart and then not closing the combat chain, and therefore thinking that a bonus which applies to the entirety of an existing combat chain continues to apply to an attack. Those sorts of things are little issues that you'll spot as you're walking between the tables, and you might point them out so that people don't make a game state error. That's the bulk of what you do as a judge. Realistically, you end up going from table to table, making sure that no one's cheating, making sure that no one's being aggressive with their opponent or anything like that, and correcting small little mistakes that you see as the games are being played. But the other component to judging comes up much more rarely, and that's where you get an interesting judge decision where someone has made a serious mistake or a serious error, and you need to apply the penalties to fix it, or you need to apply the appropriate correction to fix it. And that's the minority of the work, to be realistic. Most of what you end up doing is correcting smaller mistakes, but you need to be prepared to switch from the routine correction mode into the, okay, this is a serious situation, I need to mediate it more effectively mode.
That's really interesting. And stepping away slightly from the actual judging of the events, so we know, well, I know that you're also a strong player of the game. You play in tournaments as much as you judge. How have you found being a judge and a player, and have there been times when being a judge has helped you, or has there even been times maybe where being a judge has actually hindered you in your actual playing of the game?
So I personally think being a judge and a player is incredibly helpful for both. I know, for example, that the Utrecht call-in application form at the moment is asking potential judges for strategy questions about the different classes in the game, what they think those classes would do strategically. So if you're a player of the game and also a judge, you're probably going to be able to answer those questions a little bit better. But the main takeaway there, I think, is being a player of the game does actually help you as a judge as well, because you'll be able to sort of identify what people are going to want to do in a certain situation, and whether or not what they then do is based on a certain intention. You're able to sort of understand what the players are going through at that point in time, and then you can sort of see mistakes that are about to happen before they happen. Another sort of example of where that can be really, really useful is if you see that a player's chips are down, because you understand the strategic impact of both decks, you can preempt when one player may feel pressured to potentially skip a rule or take a slight advantage, maybe not remove a steam counter from a piece of equipment for dash. Small things like that appear to you once you've been playing the game for a while as well. So I can see why they might be interested in having a player and a judge at the same time. But the other part of your question, whether or not it's sort of helped playing the game, I think it really has. I can think actually of a cut that I made it into on the basis of being a judge, and the reason was it was Boards and Swords. It was just a casual on-demand event, I think, but it was quite large, and there was about 60, 70 people there or something. And the final round for me was sort of a win and in, and I was playing Prism at the time, and my opponent was also playing Prism. And it got to the classic situation, which all Prism players now will be familiar with, but at the time it was quite a new set, so I don't think they were. But it was a situation where I passed priority at the end of a turn with an action point still remaining, and my opponent played out an aura, and then I just destroyed it with a spectral shield. That kind of tiny rules interaction is something that just appears to you much more quickly if you're a judge of the game, you understand the rules, than does if you're a player, where you sort of have to rote learn it through multiple instances of seeing it.
Oh, such a classic. I love that.
Such a classic.
Yeah.
I felt very good. My opponent seemed very upset. My apologies to them.
No, because I played Chain, so it was always like the first turn you'd like soul shackle the weapon and then just end your turn. Be like, do you want to do anything, Prism?
It took a while for players to realize that they needed to do that. It's not an intuitive thing. Just give up your first turns that you can, or give up part of your first turns that you can protect yourself from an aura.
That's really great. Yeah, I think that's a really good example as well. I think any player of the game should try and get a really good understanding of the rules, because it opens up your strategic thinking and allows you to know what is possible and what is strategically viable within the rules. And I think that's a really, really good example to give. In terms of individuals that are considering becoming a judge, I mean, there's a judge program now. So you said earlier when you first became a judge, the stores reached out well, they reached out to everyone and were looking for individuals, but now there is a more there's an open process now to apply to take the level 1 judge exam. Did you have what would you say to someone who's considering becoming a judge and taking that exam?
So my first advice to every player of the game, even not those intending to become judges, is to take the level 0 sort of judge test, which is available on the LSS website. It's not a full judge test. It won't get you an accreditation in the same way. It won't allow you to be a level 1 judge, but it will give you examples of the kinds of edge cases that will appear in competitive games of Flesh and Blood. And if you take that test, you'll sort of see some of the difficult situations that you might run into, and some of the more common situations that you might run into as well. So I just recommend that for everyone, including the players. But then after that, if you're really interested in taking the level 1 exam, the way it works is it's a monthly window to take it. You put in an application, you then get sent the judge test, and you get, I think it's 8 days or something to take it. And then if you don't pass it, you can take it the next month and so on. My advice to anyone considering taking it is make sure you have all of the documents to hand. You don't need to know all the rules off by heart. You're effectively treated as if you're in a live situation with each of these questions. You can have those resources available to you when you're answering the questions, and you can make reference to them. So make sure you have them to hand. Take your time with the questions. No judge, even at an event, is expected to make an instant decision. And in fact, you absolutely shouldn't be making instant decisions at events. And as long as you take your time with decisions, I think with the questions you'll be able to come to a decent answer. So I think it's just about preparation and about taking your time with it, reading through the questions, making sure you don't miss any sort of tiny little trips and hazards that might be in the questions, which is the case for quite a few of them.
Yeah, and I've heard as well that it's quite a far-ranging exam. There's not just the rules of the game, there's rules and regulations about all aspects of Flesh and Blood. You understanding how tournaments and drafting works and things like that. So maybe you just go for a really well-rounded view of how everything in the game works. That should see you right for doing that exam. I was going to also ask what advice you give to players, but you also sort of did that, which is to take the level 0 exam. Do you have any other advice you'd give to someone who doesn't really care about being a judge, but just wants to understand the rules of the game better?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think the first thing you want to do if you understand the rules of the game better is just sit down for a moment and look at the framework of the game, because it seems complicated to start with, but once you go through the framework and you look at where the the action windows are and where you have priority and where you don't, you'll see that basically it's a game of various different steps that involve consecutive passes, where if both players pass, then you resolve the next thing on the to-do list almost. And if you run out of things on the to-do list, move to the next stage of the game. That's basically the way the rules are structured. And once you start to sort of boil it down, once you start to look at the rules in that context, you'll see that they're not too complicated. But as far as the more complicated situations are concerned, my best advice actually is probably to have a look in one of the rules forums. So the global Discord has a great rules question and answer channel. There's a global judge hub where questions can be asked of judges, and that judge hub is actually available to the public, and you can just ask questions of all of the registered judges in there if you need to. And if you sort of take your time to have a look through some of the questions, maybe pop in every so often and sort of see what the hot button argument of the day is, you'll probably pick up on some of the more naughty decisions.
That's true. Yeah, I got into the habit of just whenever I'm building a new deck and I'm just thinking, how does this card actually work? I normally just search for it on the rules page of the main Discord, and just it's neat. The chances are that someone's already asked your question before, and anyone that follows the Flesh and Blood rules page on Facebook has probably seen that the same questions do get asked over and over again. And if you search for it, you can generally find an answer. But if you've got something really unique, sometimes when a new set comes out, that does happen, and you can start a debate on there, and that can be fruitful, or it can go around in circles depending on.
It can go around in circles. My advice on that, if you end up in a bit of a circular argument on the Facebook page, is go to the Judge Hub and just ask in the Ask a Judge channel. There's no disrespect to the Facebook page. It's a quick and easy tool to be able to ask fairly decent questions on and get fairly decent answers. But sometimes you ask a question about how Thump interacts with Pummel and things go round and round and round. So just pop over to the Judge Hub and just ask the judges.
And I see that has made it onto LSS's main website, Judge Questions. So the Thump Pummel will hopefully disappear by the time this podcast is out. But who knows? We never know. So Jake, thank you so much for being on Push the Point. I hope you've enjoyed this interview. We'll leave a link to the Judge Hub in the description of the YouTube video, so if you want to check that out, it should be there. But just to say, Jake, thank you very much for being on the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
What's hot and what's not? Right, so we'll kick this off with the welcome to Wraith Heroes. So, boys, Katsu, is he hot?
Katsu's always hot. I think Katsu is the eternal Flesh and Blood hero. I think what Katsu has access to is so strong, and I think Katsu is so flexible. There's different ways you can build it. I think Katsu is always hot, and will never not. That's my response.
Okay, Simon?
He's not hot.
But you say that every time.
You say that every time.
It pains me to say it. He is not hot. Especially not aggro. I don't think aggro is the hottest of the lot. I think maybe if you're trying a mid-range to control.
What are you afraid of? What are you afraid of?
Disruption.
Well, who's running disruption? Those Oldhams that are going to draw with each other in round
well,
one.
Hang on.
Oldham, Lexi, Briar. All the new heroes are not great for Katsu.
I think I agree with Simon. I don't think he's currently hot at the minute. I think he's got some very strong tools behind him, but I think that the way that people are positioning their decks, I think he is going to have a harder time. So on that note, I'm going to say he's currently not hot.
Yeah,
still hot.
Katsu's still my boy.
Yeah, I know. Okay, Dorinthia.
I think Dorinthia in the UK is always hot because one of the best players in the UK plays Dorinthia. Yeah. So it's quite hard for us to be like, nah, because we always keep losing.
I can't disagree with that. I think I think Dorinthia is currently hot, but the hotness depends inversely on the amount of prison that turn up.
Yeah, and I think there's going to be a lot of prisms. So I think Dorinthia is still hot, but she's she's gonna have an interesting time of it.
I'm putting myself in the same boat as I think is Katsu. I think that she has got some really good a real big toolbox, got a very solid strategy down, but the emphasis on working it all around a weapon, I think there's a couple of heroes that punishes the need to make this weapon do its thing. In the like of Prism and quite a few destructive heroes, and I think Bravo's been given a few more tools to make that even more harder for her. But she's still good, but I don't think she's currently hot in the bigger picture.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Bravo,
you mentioned Bravo.
Yeah, Bravo. Yeah. Now Bravo, on the other hand, I think
Bravo's smoking.
Well, he's been receiving since his release new kit. Like, basically, he's been getting his toolbox bigger and bigger in literally every single set. So, Arcane Rising, he's been given Command and Conquer. In Crucible of War, Crucible of War, everyone got some spice. Monarch, he got Zealous Belting and Rouse of the Ancients. And now, in this set, it's literally got some Guardian cards tear asunder. It's just nuts. So, he's been given some new tools each turn. And I think he's hot. I think he's really
super strong.
Bravo is hot. I think Bravo is hot. I think people think he is just a hot body.
Oh, you've
no
moved
brain.
on from lukewarm, which is good.
But but I think he's actually surprisingly difficult to play, and I think a lot of people are picking up Bravo because they think this is going to be easy. I'm just going to swing with a hammer, and I assure you, I'm trying to do that, and it is not. Is not easy.
What about
maybe
someone
I'm just
who
bad at swinging with hammer? But
I think is going under the radar.
I was just going to say into what Hamish is saying, completely correct. I've completely changed my view on because I was like Oldham is hot and Bravo's not, and I completely changed around. I think Bravo.
What about you,
good.
Simon?
Well, take a listen back to last time. I still think that Bravo is much hotter than Oldham, and he will be for a long time.
Yeah, I think you were right with that.
So someone who I think's been flying under the radar though is Rhinar.
Oh, well, Rhinar is what I've always said with Rhinar is Rhinar. He is never not bad. He has a very solid strategy. And as soon as he's got a good position into a meta of being mid-range, then I think it's fine. Funny enough, playing Barrage and Beatdown in Club is a pretty good combination. And then setting up a Blood Rush Bellow turn there's nothing you can do about it. I remove your entire hand and smack you for a lot of damage. He's surprisingly got a good set of tools, and I think he's positioned quite well in this meta.
Yep, I agree. I think that he's always been a good hero, and there's certain players that stick with Rhinar through thick and thin. A couple of them in the UK meta, and I think they're gonna be rewarded for that.
What do you think, Simon?
I think he's hot because there's going to be a lot of Prism.
Yeah, I think that's a good shout. Moving on to Arcane Rising. We'll start off with, we'll just get this through. Kano. Not hot. Crap.
Not hot.
Not hot. So, yeah.
Sorry. Someone will get him one day, but not now.
Yeah, no, he's not cool. So, Azalea, move. Nah.
Poor Azalea.
Unfortunately, this new kit doesn't really help her at all.
Hotter than she used to be, but not hot.
I don't even think so. I think she's less hot by comparison.
For some reason,
she's been hanging out with the hot chick.
Yeah, she's standing next to someone that's super hot, and it just doesn't work.
No, so no good. Right, now moving on to Dash.
Oh, I don't know enough about Dash, honestly. I think not hot. I don't think she's hot, but I'm fully there to be completely blown up by that opinion. Honestly,
Simon,
I think hot, surprisingly hot. After Matt Rogers jokingly laid her to rest, I think actually her game plan is a solid one, and there are more heroes out there that don't like being taken to time and being drawn out, and I think she plays that game plan really well.
Yeah, I think she's very hot. I think when they introduced that shield to counter her, I think it was a very early grave, to be honest, because what's wrong with just setting up 3 plasma purifiers and shooting for 5, and the shield can only block for 1? Basically that shield was meant to be the doom of Dash for some weird reason. But
Well, this is the thing that people do in Flesh and Blood. One hero gets a tool, and then they decide that other hero's dead. Not everyone's running Bravo, guys. Like,
no. But even if they did,
even if the shield is good, I do think the shield is good. But
it's not actually that good.
But
I think it's fine.
But who's running? Not everyone's going to run it. A lot of people don't want to use that deck space up for a hero they're not going to see half the time. So you're going to slip past a few of them anyway.
My overall, just to sort of summarize, Dash is in a way same sort of boat as Bravo, where a lot of tools, got a lot of options. If you play really well, I think she's positioned to deal with pretty much the majority of the heroes. It's all down to your skill level. And now Viserai. Oh,
I think Viserai is pretty hot.
What an actual turn of events! I think
there's a lot of space that's been freed up for Viserai, and I think he's going to enjoy that space.
Simon,
I think there are other podcasts in the creator community who have shown some gameplay that has piqued my interest. I think he's lukewarm with the potential to heat up later on.
Yeah, I think so. I think Viserai is pretty hot. I think he's got given some really good new tools in the name of.
He was in Chained Shadow, and now he's going to come out and he's going to wreck people.
Yeah, he's been getting new tools since his release. So I think these final bunch of tools with Creeper and Rosetta Thorns are going to be really, really helpful. Moving on to Monarch, Prism,
hot.
Yeah. So.
Okay. What are you saying?
I think she's. I don't think she's going to do as well as everyone says that she's going to do. I think she's going to do well, but I think Prism has to still reinvent herself for a chainless meta, and if people can do that and work out what the meta is going to be, it will work well. But I don't think it's as easy. There's definitely a feeling in the community that Prism is going to be it. Like, you're going to go and you're just going to wreck face. I think Prism, you need to know what you're doing, and I think she is hot, but I think people need to think about it more.
I think I'm going to put her in the hot boat. I also agree with Tripp as well. I think that she's going to do a lot of damage to a lot of heroes. You need to build around her if you're going to play. She's got the power to make people have to deal with her, and she's good enough to really punish people that don't. And she's quite popular, so I'd say she's hot.
Yeah, she's going to turn up, don't get me wrong.
Oh, yeah, 100%. And if you can't deal with it, you are actually going to get slapped. So
it's going to be a nice test of deck building.
Yeah, moving on to Levia.
Oh, I like Levia at the moment.
Oh, I like Levia too.
Yeah, I think I think Levia was always a hero that was going to take a while for people to really work out how to do her right. And I think a few people have sat down and really tried to solve Levia, and I think that is coming to fruition, and it could peak at the right time for Nat. So I think I'd give Levia a hot, actually. I think she's almost peaking at the perfect time for our tournament, and maybe people will solve her after R1, but I think it could be a real surprise, and I think it could do really well.
I totally agree. It's one of those interactions of, how Beyond playing from Banish Zone is actually a pretty good ability, and you've now got a hero that can actually throw that bad boy back into the Banish Zone. So who would have thought that interaction was pretty decent? So yeah, I think with that and the old Blood Rush Bellows that Rhino likes to use, I think she can spike some huge damage. So I'm going to go hot. What about you, Simon?
I'm going to go lukewarm. She was so bad in the last meta that I wouldn't jump to any conclusions. But I think...
Do you think she's probably a bit difficult?
She definitely has potential. And I think, as Tripp says, when she clicks for someone, it's going to be really interesting to see.
I agree. We shall move on to Bolton.
I don't know about Bolton, guys. I think if you're saying Katsu's not hot, I can't see how Bolton is hot.
Well, Bolton has two modes, isn't he? I mean, it was kind of, I suppose, really, the two modes are actually quite polarizing. The Raiden build and the Sabres build. I personally think the Sabres build is fine. I think
he says through gritted teeth.
Yeah, well, it's not bad. I don't like it, but the combination is still pretty lethal.
It is. I think if we see a lot of Bravo, I don't think Sabre's Bolton is going to enjoy Bravo and the stuff that Bravo can do.
Yeah, well, you can just throw in some more defense reactions and just hang back and build up
Well,
soul.
stuff like it's slightly memey, but stuff like Righteous Cleansing can just completely destroy your deck, which is the one that lets you banish 5 cards on top of the deck. That can literally just be like, well, there's nothing I can do now.
Right.
But like that can happen, and I don't know. Like I just
a crippling crush pummel can pretty much just do it.
End of your day. Yeah,
Yeah, that's literally that can end your deck.
Yeah, like there's a couple of things you can do with Bravo, and I think there's going to be a lot of Bravo.
Yeah, I think Bolton's not in a great spot. I'm going to say not hot.
Not hot.
Okay, and we're going to end with chain.
Simon's just, I give my spiel, and then Simon's just like, bam, not hot.
Well, don't worry, Simon. We're near the end, so you can wake up now.
I'm just trying to make it easier editing for you, buddy. I'm just trying to keep it short and sweet.
You failed at that because, an hour ago, but
chain is not hot.
Chain. Not hot.
I actually, I am going to say not hot, but I had a game with my brother just the other day, and he's basically just not the monster he was, but he's not trash either. Like, I just want to emphasize he is not utter trash. But if anyone was a superhero and now they're just now they're just strong because they're not a superhero anymore, they're not good. But actually they're still strong. Like, there's still some very, very powerful interactions that you need to be aware of.
It's really hard to lose 9 cards from your main deck that you ran in every single matchup. Don't
get me wrong, those cards were the nuts, but when you can still play Half and Beyond into and then Shackle, then play Unhallowed Rites for 7, followed up by the Rosetta Thorns for 2 and 2. That is, for effort, not really that much effort. It's still a big hit that can come out of nowhere, and I think if people just work out a very different way they want to do it, I think they'll soon find that he can still give you a slap, just not the hyper slap. So, but currently not hot. Sorry, Tripp, I've kind of thrown in on there. What do you think?
I think we both said not hot, didn't we, at the start?
Moving on now.
I agree.
Okay, last 3, everyone. We'll start off with, I think, a fairly easy one. Oldham.
Oh, he's ice cold, mate. He's not hot.
Oh,
it's too slow. It's too slow.
Yeah.
If we were talking about Blitz, I'd say hot.
Really?
Well, okay. Well, you can't mess with the system.
No, you can't mess with the system. But at the same time, I think you are talking absolute crap. How is he hot? No, I'm not going to.
No, we do not have time for
not
that.
Hot.
Not hot. Okay, I think if the time was another if we had just a little bit more time, I think Oldham is probably one of the strongest heroes. But due to the effort, the way he has to play, he actually doesn't complete what he needs to do in time. So
he could be really good if he gets more tools.
I think he could be just very good if we just got more time.
More time. 2-hour game. Right.
If he was a completely different hero and he played in a completely different way, he could be really good.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
He is very good. He just can't finish the game in time. That's the problem.
So he's not very good then, is what we're saying.
So he's not very good in a competitive 50-minute time. Anyway, Lexi.
Hot.
I think Lexi's hot.
I think Lexi's hot. I think there's a couple of people in the UK that are just really not game for it, but I think people are now starting to wake up with Lexi and realise actually she can kick your balls in to your throat.
I think where we're at with these new heroes is that there are multiple deck building spaces for each hero, and it is really hard to find the optimal line for each hero. And it really depends on what meta turns up as to what line is hot and what line is not. I think Lexi is hot.
I agree.
Yeah, I think so.
And then we'll finish this up with a Briar, which I will say is defied all expectations in a way, but weirdly, if you sat down and looked at what she offered, it wasn't really that unsurprising to see that she's pretty good. So I'm going to say she's hot. Really hot. Simon?
Hot-ish.
Hot-ish. Oh, that's a sign. Right.
Again, hot, depending on the build.
What build? Oh, I suppose these heroes can go into different builds, but I'm just being a bit overall and saying that she's hot with the correct build.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
I agree. Hot.
Yeah, I agree with Simon. I think that there's going to be a lot of Briar players turn up and their deck is not optimized and they're going to do really badly. But I think there'll be 1 or 2 Briar players that really do their testing. They get the right rate. The ratios in that Briar deck are tight because you can brick really badly if you don't have the attack actions you need and you lose a turn, you lose. So it's got really good potential, but do your testing.
Yeah.
Well, we saw this in the Gauntlet event at the weekend,
we did.
right?
Yes, we did.
And if you brick 3 or 4 hands in a row, there's only so much you can do.
That's Runeblade.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah, it's the
Runeblade.
same with Chain. It's the
Runeblade.
same with
Yeah.
Chain, but like it's something you need to work on if you want to win with
Yeah.
it.
Wow.
Okay, so quickly before we finish, then draft. Hot or
Oh
not?
god, we
draft.
got fucking hell. We got.
Briar is really good. She's not as good as everyone thinks she is. Thump Oldhim is insane. I recommend trying
Pump
that
and
out.
thump.
Just draft a good number of thumps, a good number of buffs. You can destroy Briars. Lexi, I've seen people destroy fields with Lexi, but I don't know how they do it. That's my view.
Yeah.
So were you saying they're all hot?
I think they are.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
they are. I think it's just whenever
It's
you were
almost
saying
like the
what's
set
hot
is
and what's
actually
not
more
with
balanced
draft. I'm
than
like,
people think it is.
yeah. I
People
think.
can
Oh, go on.
Sorry, Hamish, I just interrupted you.
No, I was just saying that I think in the draft format, to say what's hot and what's not is kind of like, well, how garbage were your picks? Because your hero can be complete trash if you pick it all wrong.
I tell you what, in draft, there's no hot heroes in draft. There's just hot players, and you could be one of them if you put your work in and you practice your draft. You could be the hottest fab drafter in the UK.
Yeah, go watch Simon's Pat One Pit Ones. You'll be
watch our
You'll be
Pat
a
One
hot
Pit
picker
one,
in no
and
time.
it's going to be great.
Yeah. Right, boys.
Boys!
Boys.
We did
Made
another
it.
podcast.
Oh,
boys.
it's another one. Episode 13.
Episode
oh my
13.
Unlucky for some. We didn't even make that joke at any point. So.
Oh my god, we did it. It's unlucky for some, but lucky for you, we made it. So
Thanks for subscribing. If you subscribed recently, we're doing pretty well with that. So we got lots of video content coming up. Yeah, so keep an eye out for more stuff.
Yeah, we love you all. You're actually all genuinely awesome. Please comment. What
Like,
your
subscribe, tweet
hotnesses.
at us. We don't
Yeah.
have a Twitter.
Oh no, you can
but
tweet at me at
just tweet at Hamish.
Hamsack88 at Twitter.
just promote your own Twitter account. Yeah,
Well, no, I mean you can follow me if you want. I've literally just got quite a lot. If you're reading One Piece, don't go following my thing too much because I did post a few photos of some old chapters. But yeah. So, but at the same time, you can reach out to us there or whatever. Cool, whatever. I'm going to sleep. Bye, everyone. Oh, Simon.
Bye.
Still.
So, yeah.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Bye.